Hello and welcome to the Inside Stylist podcast, where we talk all about interiors. From interviews with interior stylists, writers and assistants to trend forecasters, Instagram experts and the up and coming brands we all want to feature. There's so much to talk about. I'm your host, Emma Morton-Turner. Enjoy the show. Today's guest has worked on a number of titles. It is Style at Home, 25 Beautiful Homes, House Beautiful, Good Homes, Home Style Coast, Sainsbury's, Homes and Property Online. You've also worked on Guitar, OK and Attitude. Today's guest is Laurie Davidson. Hello, Laurie.
Hello, Emma.
Thank you for letting me come to your lovely home.
You're very welcome.
This is kind of how I'm starting all of them now. I'm invading everyone's space. I don't know if you remember when we first met. We met on Woman and Home.
I do
you
remember that a million years ago, wasn't it?
Literally.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And you were working in the subs department at the time.
That's right. Yes, I've had a number of roles over the years in magazines, and yes, it was the subs department. And we were in the old building, weren't we?
That's right,
the old IPC building.
But you're an interior stylist now. So
yes.
Do you want to tell us how you got into magazines and how you came to be an interior stylist? Because that's quite an interesting switch.
Okay, so I started off in magazines fresh from college. I was 17 and I applied for a job role on Guitar magazine, and it was to do production. And at the time I had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to go to university. I applied for a load of different jobs and I got this one. So I went to work there. As I said, I was only 17, so really kind of fresh out of college, and I didn't actually realise at the time how cool a magazine it was to work on, I don't think, because I had all these really cool band members coming past my desk, and
Did you know who they were?
No, like people were like, oh, it's Richie Sambora, and I was like,
really?
Oh, okay,
Really?
yeah, didn't have a clue. Anyway, while I was there, I kind of realised that production wasn't what I wanted to do, and what I wanted to do was write. Mm-hmm. So I was very lucky to have a lovely boss at the time called Claire Lorden, and she let me every day have half an hour to an hour of practicing touch typing.
Wow.
And then she let me leave work early every week to go and do a journalism evening school course, which I wanted to do. So I completed that, and then I got my first job as an editorial assistant on Feng Shui for Modern Living magazine.
Okay.
So that was a really random
the 90s,
one.
by any chance?
Yes. So I worked on for quite a few companies doing production and subbing until I became, got into writing a little bit more. Feng Shui for Modern Living was brilliant because it was interiors, and I think that was when I got my very first taste of it. Then the company went into receivership. I went to work for IPC on a freelance basis in the subs department, which would be where I met you.
Yeah.
And then from there I went to work for Inspirations for Your Home magazine, which is where I met Andre Frieze, Jennifer Morgan, Emma Clayton, loads of people in the industry, and I was subbing on that magazine. And then eventually I worked my way up and I became deputy editor of that magazine, and that was the first title, I think, that was just purely in interiors, and I loved it and I never looked back. So that was how I got into interiors.
So you kind of went through a subbing to writing.
Yes.
And now you're styling. So how did that come about?
So after working on quite a few different magazines, so Inspirations for Your Home, I went to work on Beautiful Kitchens, 25 Beautiful Homes. Writing. But while I was on Beautiful Kitchens, I did a couple of shoots with Izan Brooks, who's the editor at the time, and I'd also assisted on shoots. I should probably say that a lot of the magazines before that had been quite small teams, so when we had shoots, I got to go along and help out, so I'd kind of almost done that style assistant bit. So while I was working on Beautiful Kitchens, Jennifer Morgan was editing Style at Home magazine, and Louise O'Brien was the homes editor at the time, and she went off on maternity leave, and I interviewed for the role and I got it. So that was how I got into being an interior stylist, because we would commission out some of the homes and makeovers, but we would also do some ourselves. Yeah. So I think I got all my learning done in that job role.
Yeah.
So I was there for 5 years.
Quite intense.
It was very intense learning, but
It's
it was
a lovely magazine.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. Without a doubt, the best magazine I've ever worked on, and such a great team. I loved it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I did a little stint on Style at Home before you were there, actually, and I really liked it. It was a really nice little close team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
A fun magazine to work on just from the content side of it. It was like fast moving, and
Exactly.
it was kind of, I think I'm their perfect reader. So I think when you work on a magazine that you can really relate to, it's really
Me too.
the craft. And
Exactly. There was a lot of high street mixed in. It was
Yeah.
very real. And
could
you had the
afford
craft
things, didn't you?
element, which I really liked as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots of different parts to it.
So you've been freelance about, is it 2 years?
2 years.
Almost 2 years exactly now, isn't
Yes.
it? And I remember there was a spate of, there was kind of like a massive influx of freelancers all at once, and it was kind of you and Cassie Pryce and Emily Dorr and a whole host of other people all went freelance at once.
I know, it was like a mass exodus,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it really was, yeah. And you have just literally hit the ground running. You have done, I'm watching from afar and I can tell you are doing very well.
Thanks, Sarah.
Because you're so busy, which we're going to talk
Yes.
about in a minute. But how has the transition been from going from in-house to freelance? Because it's a very... Had you been freelance before then?
I'd been freelance, but not as a stylist
No.
before. So I was used to going into companies and working in-house for them as a freelancer. So very different to what I did this time. The transition was probably easier for me, I guess, because I'd had so much experience of working within the interiors industry over the years, and I knew people on different magazines. So I wasn't having to kind of cold call them and introduce myself. They already knew me, and I had a lot of contacts, so obviously that helped. But yeah, there was still that thing of working out how to manage my time, think about what I wanted to do.
Did you take voluntary redundancy?
No.
Were you made redundant?
I was not made redundant.
You weren't made
I
redundant,
left.
so you didn't have a safety net.
I did not have a safety net.
So what, did you have a plan?
I did have a plan. My plan was to go freelance and do exactly what I'd done on Style at Home, all the bits of the job that I loved, but as a freelancer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
All the bits I loved and none of the bits I didn't
Exactly.
love. Yeah.
And
you do the bits that I didn't love.
Exactly. And I thought, you know, the nice thing about being freelance is that I'm going to get to work for different magazines and brands as well, which I'd only ever worked for magazines. So obviously doing brand shoots was going to be something a bit different. So it's all quite exciting and slash nerve-wracking.
Yes.
So I think I left in November, and I had 2 months over Christmas of just pure panicking. What if I don't get any work? What have I done? And then I got some work booked in January, and it kind of started to filter slowly.
You had work
through.
in January?
Yeah.
No one works in January.
No, I know. It was just a couple
That's
of.
a start.
It was just a couple of house shoots, but you know, it was the starting point.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. January is notorious for being quiet.
Yes.
And this year,
learned
we're
that.
in 2018 right now, is the quietest January everyone has ever said. So that's really good that you started in January and got the ball rolling. Very good. So how do you find houses? Because you predominantly do well, from what I see from following you on Instagram, and if anyone wants to follow Laurie, she's Life of an Interior Stylist on Instagram, and you're on there every day. And you're shooting every day. You're in your car at the crack of dawn, driving to the other side of the country, pretty much every day. I'm like, I watch you and I just think, she's shooting another house. And then she's got all her props. When is she writing it all? Like, you're really prolific. Tell me how you find them. You don't have to give away trade secrets, but how do you stay on top of it all? Because you are shooting a lot. How do you get your shoots, get your props, get them written up, get them sent, get all the props sent back? How do you organise your time and get all that done?
I guess I'm quite organised, I always have been, and that stems, I think, from probably being in production and subbing when I was younger. I mean, you literally had to be the most organised person ever. And also working on a very small team, I think, has stood me in really good stead, because you were involved with everything. You had a million different things going on at any one time, and you just had to prioritise. So for me, that's the biggest thing, is prioritising. Looking for homes, I would say the first probably 4 or 5 months of being freelance, I would look on Instagram and social media. That was a really good source for me for finding homes and contacting people. Since then, I haven't had to really search for homes online. I'm very lucky in that they come to me now. So it's
so people mix. Reach out to you.
Yeah, so I've had a mix of people reaching out to me through social media, reaching out to me through workshops that I've done, and also magazines when they've got houses and makeovers in asking me to shoot them for them. Yeah. So yeah, I've been quite lucky with that, I think. So yeah, so I don't spend too much time looking for homes to shoot. Obviously, when I'm looking through social media, there's
things crop up, and you're like, oh,
that would be good. That would be
I know
really
which
good.
magazine would like that one.
Yeah. But for the most part, I don't spend too much time actually looking for homes and makeovers to shoot.
You've got yourself into a kind of a niche position now. Yeah, really good position. So how often would you say you're shooting?
It really depends from month to month and week to week. You know, some weeks I'll have 3-day shoots in one week. The next week I'll be working from home and doing press shows or meetings. It's different every month. But I would say I've usually got at least 2 or 3 shoots a month, whether that's brand
stuff. It feels
stuff,
like it's 2 or 3 a week.
Yeah, I mean sometimes it is. You know, I've had some crazy months through the summer where I've had literally every week I've had at least 2 shoots, and so yeah, it probably does seem like I'm shooting. Yeah,
no, it's good though. It's really inspiring. You're kind of like, she's working so hard. There's plenty of work out there.
But I think, you know, the key is I talk to PRs all the time, and I'm seeing obviously all the products that are coming in, and I just think about how I'd like to use them, and I think that having commissioned homes and makeovers for such a long time really stood me in good stead in that I know what magazines are looking for, and I know how they probably want them shot and what kind of things they want in them. So I try and work with PRs to include, you know, the latest products in those shoots to make them relevant.
Do they send them to you and then collect them, or do you have to post them back? Like, just thinking from a practical point of view, magazines have such tight budgets that they don't really want to be paying for couriers and postage and stuff. Do the brands tend to...
They don't often collect them. It depends who it is. Some of them do. So I use companies that do collect, but I also, where I try and work it in that if I know I'm going to be in London, I'll drop them back to the PR companies if it's nothing too big. Yeah. So I think I did a spate of that with H&M for quite a while. Yeah. I'd go and pick them up from their press office and take them back to their press office, but it was usually things like table linen and things that are easy to carry. Yeah. And yes, I guess to some extent I don't have to bother doing that. It does add an extra element to it, but I just really enjoy
that's the bit
seeing
you like.
the new things, getting, you know, new products in, and also for homeowners as well. I think it makes it a little bit special for them because they get to see something that's not out in the shops yet,
and you're putting something into their home that they haven't seen, but it's like, oh, I would never have thought of doing it like that.
Exactly. I do obviously check with them they do actually like the product first, and it's in keeping with their style.
You just imagine you're like getting to proof stage and they're like, actually I don't like those red napkins, you can't feature my house.
Exactly.
We don't go with it. Have you done Christmas a lot then?
I have
done Christmas houses
houses to death this year.
Hang on, you told me how many Christmas trees you've done.
So probably about 18 this year. So I've done everything from brand Christmas shoots. I've done the big Style at Home Christmas Tree Challenge, which was a week-long shoot. I've done the decorating shoot for Homestyle magazine, and then I've done homes and makeovers with Christmas trees in. Yeah. So a lot of Christmas
when I got
trees.
here today,
I know what you're going to say.
It was very Christmassy in here. There was a Christmas movie on, so you still love Christmas.
I love Christmas. I know. I'm probably the right person for the job because I do really love Christmas.
What's your Christmas tree like? Have you got a new one this year?
We have to have a faux one because our 2 cats eat real ones, so I can't have one of those. Yeah, Chaz and Dave. So my Christmas tree is usually quite rustic. It's lots of wood, lots of white. I'm not big on colour, I guess, so it's quite rustic and green.
Oh, nice. Sounds lovely.
Green and white.
Very nice. What is your favourite thing to work on? Is it real homes?
Do you know, I looked at this question when you sent me the list of questions, and I am going to struggle to answer this because I really like a lot of different elements of my job. So I don't know. I don't know that I've got a favourite.
I like not knowing what's coming next.
Yeah.
Like when I'm doing a real home, I'll be excited about the event I'm shooting next week, and when I'm doing the event, I'll be looking forward to like a commercial shoot I'm doing next week. And I think I like the just the randomness of it.
Yeah, definitely.
You never get bored, do you?
No, exactly. I love going to people's homes and seeing, mostly because I'm nosy probably. I think probably if I wasn't doing this job I'd be an estate agent or something. I just love looking at people's homes.
Do you know what? You're saying that. The people whose homes, I don't stalk you, I follow you, we're friends, so I see your Instagram. The people whose houses you've shot comment on other pictures you've put of other houses, so it's like you build a relationship and people are still commenting.
You absolutely do.
And that's lovely when they go, oh, I love that you've done there, and you're like, oh, didn't you shoot her house 2 months ago?
It is a really nice thing. It's a lovely thing to go in, meet people that are as obsessed with interiors as you are and passionate about it, and that actually you keep in touch with them afterwards. And I've had quite a few where I've shot their home and then they might change something in it, and straight away that's another makeover for a different magazine. So it's really nice, very sociable, and also I find that I'm constantly being inspired by other people's homes.
Massively.
As an interior stylist, I think you take inspiration from everywhere, and some people that are not working in interiors at all just have a really good eye. So I like being inspired by people's houses and meeting new people as well. So.
I was on a shoot last week. It was a 5-day shoot and we were in a different location every day, and every day I was like, oh, I love what they've done over there, I really want to do that, and I love what this house has done in the bathroom, and it is really inspiring, even when it's like a location house that's been set up for shoots and it's a little bit kind of obvious. There's still an element that you're like, oh, I like how they've put that together. And
every location house I go in, I think this is how I want my house to be. And I come home and I change things round, and then I see the next one.
And you change it again?
Yeah, my house is constantly changing.
Yeah, my husband's a little bit over all of that.
Yeah, mine too.
So, I always ask people a disaster story. What's the worst thing that's happened on it? Maybe a real home shoot. Going into people's houses is always a little bit... You never know what you're going to get.
I was trying to think about this, and I guess I've been quite lucky in that I haven't had any huge disasters.
You've never set fire to anything then?
Strangely not. I'm very clumsy as well, so I have to be really careful in people's houses because I know that I'm clumsy. I think one of the hardest shoots I ever did was actually a bathroom makeover, and the editor asked me to go and shoot it, and she'd seen pictures of it, but she'd seen pictures of like 4 different areas of it rather than a whole room shot. And so it was up in Manchester. So I remember going to shoot this
we're recording this a long way from Manchester.
Yes. So I went up with Ollie Gordon, photographer Ollie Gordon, and we drove up together, and obviously it was a very long drive.
Oh my god.
And we got there, and the bathroom was tiny. I mean, really, really, really small, and I think we both kind of thought, we don't know how we're going to get that one room shot. I mean, it was beautifully done, but it was a real challenge.
And were there mirrors in there as well to help reflect?
There were mirrors, and there was glass shower screen, and all the things that make it that bit trickier. So that was a tricky one. I've had all sorts of things go wrong on shoots. I mean, we had a Christmas tree just this year that was supposed to be an electrical expanding Christmas tree. So it comes in a very tiny box, and then you press the remote control and it's supposed to expand, and it didn't expand at all. So we had kind of a mini Christmas tree that was of no use to anyone.
That was like the big feature, and it just didn't work.
On a shoot that I've just done recently for a brand, they sent the wrong colour sofa. So not the brand, the hire company. Did they digitally change it? Yes,
because at least you can do that now.
Yes,
you couldn't do that back in the beginning.
So there's a lot of things that I've learned over the years, kind of ways around things, and I think that's probably a very big part of being a stylist is the problem solving.
I was just going to say, we are problem solvers.
Absolutely.
Nothing, we can fix anything.
Exactly. And I've just learned, not to get stressed by these things. There will be a way around it. You just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. I say this to my kids all the time. Everything's fixable. Everything's figure-outable. It just is. So, as well as styling, you've teamed up with the lovely Maxine Brady to do the Secret Styling Secret Styling Workshop.
Secret Styling Club.
Secret Styling Club. who do workshops.
Yes.
Now, if you're a regular listener, you'll remember we were just double checking what episode Maxine's episode is, and she's 007.
She is, which is perfect for her.
And when I interviewed Maxine, you had literally just started, and that was a good few months ago now, 30 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So it's really doing well, isn't it? You've done so much. So do you want to maybe describe or explain what the workshops are all about?
Yeah, so I teamed up with Maxine back in January to form the Secret Styling Club, and we do workshops and events focused on styling, interior styling, and we've done ones for the general public, we've done ones for influencers, and we can work with brands to do anything that they want. So whether there's a bit of craft thrown in, we can do that. We've done Instagram takeovers, but predominantly the message behind it is trying to help people to style their homes in a way that they're happy with, and also give them some insight into what we do as interior stylists. It's a funny story because I'd known Maxine for years over email.
Yes, this is what
when
she said. It was really
I used to
interesting.
commission freelancers to do homes and makeovers and features for us. But I'd never met her until last December. And it was really nice, actually. It was the Interior Stylist Freelance Party.
Oh, yeah? That's the first time you met?
That's the first time that I met Maxine. And we got chatting. I had done a couple of workshops before with a blogger at The Home That Made Me. Mm-hmm. And I'd really enjoyed them, but they were very much Charlotte's events, and I was quite keen to do something myself. And so Maxine said that she was quite keen as well, and we sort of said, maybe we should do something. And then we spoke in January and decided to do something, put the word out there, and literally within a few weeks we got snapped up by Farrow & Ball to do our first workshop. So we were like, oh god, we better actually get a logo and get some content. It all happened really quickly, but that's kind of how it's been working this year. Actually, it's just gone from strength to strength. I mean, we worked with West Elm and Cold Furniture, Farrow & Ball. We appeared at the House of Next.
That's what I was thinking
big
of.
Next event. We've got lots of plans for the future and lots of brand stuff coming up as well. And then after that, we are possibly doing something Christmassy with a very well-known high street brand, but with that, we're just negotiating that at the moment.
Well, if
I will let you know.
That happens before this goes out in a couple of weeks, then you can let me know and I will share that.
Yes.
If not, just watch, Life of an Interior Stylist. It will be shared. Yeah, go on.
And then we've got some bit for next year that we can't actually talk about yet.
No. But that's nice to have things lined up.
We were also saying that as well as working with brands, it might be quite nice for us next year to actually do some just us without brands as well. So we get a really good mix of both, with some different subjects as well. So interior styling, but I think there's the people that come to our workshops are all very different, and they're there for different reasons. So some people want to get into doing interior styling themselves. Others have come just because they want to spruce their house up and they want some inspiration. It's for all different reasons. Others want to learn how to do it for Instagram. So I think it, for us, it's probably just about turning our attention to some different themes and making sure we're covering everything.
Yeah, and I suppose when people come to you and then they're asking you these questions, it's almost like research, isn't it? You're going, I hadn't thought that people wanted to learn that. So we're
getting some really good feedback on workshops that we've done, and also what people want. So
it's very exciting.
Yes, it is.
So if people want to kind of check out what's going on, where's the best place to find out? On your website?
Yeah, they can find out either from my website or from Maxine's website, and we've also got our own Instagram page, Secret Styling Club, so they can go on there, and any news that we have will be on all of those three.
You're lauriedavidson.co.uk, aren't you? And Maxine, I think, is Maxine Brady?
She might be We Love
Home
Blog.
I was going to say she's We Love Home Blog.
That's her
I'll put this
site.
in the show notes. I'll double check everything, spellings and everything. So, talking of Insta.
Yes.
I do like watching you on Instagram. So, on the way here, I pulled over because I was getting a bit sleepy, and I got here really early and I thought I need a Red Bull, and then I was watching Laurie's Instagram and then responding. But you're very good on Instagram. You're very good at being I was going to say relentless. Relentless is not the word I'm looking for. I will definitely edit that out. You are very good at being consistent.
Right.
You're very on it. And for someone who's very busy and leaves very early in the morning, I really struggle to get posts out every day, because I'm leaving and dog walking and kids and stuff. But how do you have a plan with Instagram? Do you just kind of do it the same way?
I should have a plan with Instagram, and I should.
We all should.
Probably use an app to schedule my posts, but I don't. I do it as and when I can. So I don't post every day. I try to do something every day, even if it's just a quick story. But I don't post to my grid every day. I think that's part and parcel of just being really busy at shoots, and it probably wouldn't be very professional if I just sat there posting on my Instagram.
Now that's it as well, because last week I was like, I'm at these amazing location houses, and I literally thought I'm just going to snap loads of pictures, and I literally have them in my phone now. A week later, I haven't posted any, because you can't on a shoot, you're too busy.
No, exactly. And I think for me, I kind of see it as a bit of an evening job as well.
Yeah.
So I usually try and, if I'm watching TV or something in the evening, or I get home from a shoot, it might be the last thing I feel like doing, but I'll try and pop them on then and there, because I know that if I don't, they won't go on. Exactly. Something else will come around, it'll feel like old news. So
because you're very good at talking to camera. Did you feel nervous to begin with?
Do you know what? I don't feel nervous talking to my phone. I'm fine doing it, but I never watch them back. I can't, because I hate the way I sound. I'm going to hate this podcast the way that I sound and come across. I tend not to watch them, because I think that I probably wouldn't put them on there if I did. They make me cringe a bit.
Do you just do them and then you just put hashtags and stuff and put them out straight away? You don't even listen to them when you put them back?
Unless I know that I've ummed and erred a bit, which I'm probably doing right now. But if I know that I've done that, then I might just do another one. But I try not to watch my own things back.
It's really interesting, because I started doing Instagram stories every day in an attempt to get over listening to myself, because I have to edit this podcast and I have to listen to myself going which is horrible. It's really, someone said to me the other day, I love it when when you talk on Instagram, because you're talking to me, and that's what you do. You talk to the person watching. And I'm just wondering if, for me, it's like when I write for a magazine, I'm writing to one person. Instagram's the same. I talk to Instagram the way I write for a magazine. Do you think the same way?
I guess so. I probably talk to people as if I'm talking to myself, I guess.
See, when I talk to myself, I don't open my mouth. My daughter said to me the other day, "What are you doing?" And I went, "I'm answering myself," because I was screwing my face up and shaking my head, and I'd literally been walking. I probably shouldn't share this sort of stuff. I was walking along going and shaking my head, and she's like, "Oh, you're talking to yourself again." So when I talk to,
I do that quite often. I always talk to myself. But also, we did a video series when I was on Style at Home magazine called the £20 Challenge. And they got me and a colleague to go out. We used to have to go to antique fairs.
Oh my God, I remember this.
Yeah, and
that's my dream job.
It was fantastic. And we had a videographer with us, and we used to have to pick something for £20. They'd film us doing that and talking about what we were going to do with it, and then we would go back to the office where we had studios, and we would go into the studio and we would upcycle whatever it was and turn it into something else, and then we would get it shot, and then it would be in the magazine. And so I guess I'd had a bit of experience with talking to a camera, and being filmed. And also we did little brand things when I was on the magazine. I mean, I think it was Tops Tiles. I went in and talked about their tiles in their bathrooms, and for Victoria Plum as well. So that was all good.
So you're an old hat.
But like I say, I do not like watching it back.
I do understand completely. So what would you say is the highlight of your career so far?
Oh God.
Has being freelance been better than being in-house?
I think with freelance, it's kind of made me feel really excited about my career. And I'm calling it a career now, but it used to feel like, I loved my job and I would go to work, but there's something about working for yourself that just gives you that real sense of pride and satisfaction. And I know that sounds really cheesy.
No, completely right.
But it is true. When articles come out that I've written or compiled, or pictures that I've styled now, it just means so much more than I think it did when I was just kind of churning them out every month. And I suppose, to 2 years down the line being freelance and knowing that we're going to be at Ideal Home, the Christmas show on the main stage, that just makes me feel really good. So I feel like I'm in a really good place at the moment. It's gone freelancing has gone really well for me. I've been very lucky. But, you know, to the same degree, I do work bloody hard.
Yeah, you are very hard working.
But, you know, I think that I would definitely not do this if I didn't love it. If you didn't love it and you weren't passionate about interiors, you definitely wouldn't be working to this extent, I don't think.
No.
Because, you know, I do have an evening job and a weekend job as well. But then I go on plenty of holidays to kind of make up for it, so it all balances out.
Yes. Yeah, someone said to me the other day, she's on holiday again. I was like, do you see how hard she works?
I need it.
She doesn't have a day off for like 6 months. She needs to see some sun.
Absolutely do.
So we're obviously sitting in your home. How would you describe your interior style to people who are listening?
Probably a complete mishmash of different things.
I don't think mishmash is the word I'd use. It's very calm.
Do you think I like a calm home? I think that because I work so much with colour and pattern, and I'm seeing so many different changing schemes all the time and things evolving, that I like to come home to something that is just really tranquil and calm. So I guess I've never been big on living with colour. I love working with it, but I can't live with it. So I'm much more about texture. So I like lots of wood, concrete, stone, sheepskin. So probably quite Scandi, I guess.
Kind of modern Scandi.
Modern Scandi mixed with lots of vintage finds. Yeah, that's my home.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. So my last question is always, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Building an empire, of course. No, I don't know. What's next for me? I guess developing Secret Styling Club, definitely. And also I've been doing a lot more brand shoots this year. I've just worked with Hillary's and done a big shoot for them. I've worked with Out and Out Original, and worked with all these brands that I didn't get a chance to do before when I was on magazines. So that I love doing that. So I'd quite like to do some more of that. I've got definite plans in the pipeline for Secret Styling Club, and I'd also like to launch a blog, which seems probably quite far down the line to be thinking about launching one, but it's been coming for a long while, and I think I do need to have another platform.
Something about having an outlet to put your ideas and your likes and things out there in your work, in your own voice, however you want. It's it's a really nice feeling.
It's been sitting there ready for 2 years, and I just haven't really had the time to do it because it's spread quite thinly. But I think that over Christmas, I'm hoping that I can start it up and get some content on.
because you're not going to have time off over Christmas, are you? You're not going to be sitting still. You've got to get on with something.
I'm definitely having some time off this Christmas, but no, that's what I'd like to do, I think. And also, where everything's moving so much into the digital realm now, I'm quite excited to kind of learn more, because that's not where my background is. But I'm learning as I go, and I'm really enjoying that. So I think it's just finding new challenges and new things that excite you.
That's very, very cool. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to come and talk to you today. Thanks for listening to the Inside Stylist podcast. You'll find all the details from today's show over on InsideStylist.com. Until next time, bye for now.